everybody, Bobby here, and I just got out of seeing Venom, and whew, this was a movie. Not a bad movie though. So let's get into this. So I did see Venom, and just to get out of the way, I didn't think it was bad. A lot of people are giving this movie a lot of hate, and I don't know why. It's a lot of critics. Now, I've heard rumors of people giving it fake reviews. I've heard a lot of people not like it because it's not as accurate to the character as they would like it. And I have my own opinions on that. I do. But, and my opinions are, in this day and age, everybody is going to have a different interpretation on anything. I mean, everything's different. It's not always accurate. I mean, sticking with the Spider-Man topic, every Spider-Man movie is not 100% accurate to every film. Okay? The design, the story it's based on, you get the point. So, Venom not being connected to Spider-Man was a choice. And I think that choice was, it worked. This movie did not need Spider-Man. In fact, if you integrated Spider-Man into this plot, it would have just came out of nowhere. Like, okay, you can still fit Spider-Man here. Okay, Spider-Man can easily be fit in this movie. Before people talk about, there's nothing Spider-Man about this movie, and to be granted, there's nothing a lot about Spider-Man. But there is some Spider-Man stuff sprinkled in there, so don't, get all pissy. It's in there. You just gotta look. If you're a diehard Spider-Man fan, you'll see it. But you could easily fit Spider-Man in this movie series and the MCU. But this movie's not perfect. No movie's perfect. I mean, at this point, what movie doesn't break records? I mean, that new Western. That broke a record, right? Yeah. Yes, Venom broke a record for Thursday night viewings. And I might give it a little hope, but then again, if you're wanting a sequel to this movie, it deserves it. I feel it deserves a sequel. I think it should go on. If they don't want to put Spider-Man in there, I think eventually you have to. With this kind of movie, it's connected to Spider-Man. With the fans, you have to. And if you don't, it's just going to make more people angry. As a standalone film, I am alright with it. As a film not connected to the MCU, I'm okay with it. As a film not connected to Spider-Man, I'm okay with it. So, let's just get into the plot. You have, as simple as I can get it, without spoilers. Without spoilers. This movie is basically, alright, Eddie Brock lived in New York, now he's in San Francisco. He's a reporter. He's got a fiance. He tries and does reports on bad people to stop bad things. Stuff like that. So, and then you have this evil corporation, and they want to go to outer space and get different materials, and they get aliens, and they bring them to Earth, and they want to experiment people They want to do experiments on people with these aliens, and that's the story. And Eddie Brock finds out about this and tries to take him down. And then his life gets ruined. And then he gets Venom. And then that's the story. Venom and him have to work together to stop this evil corporation. Whatever. But that's just a simple plot summary. This movie is action-packed. It's funny, and there's some references to Spider-Man. We'll get into those in the spoiler stuff, but this movie isn't bad at any means. Venom as a character, and I'm not talking about Eddie Brock. I'm talking about the symbiote. I don't know. He's funny. Like I said, people want a accurate Venom. A serious anti-hero Venom who eats people. He eats people. He does eat people. But also, he is a superhero. To be granted, he is somewhat of a hero in the comics now. So, I mean, I know what you guys want. You want that Todd McFarlane, evil Spider-Man, anti-hero, lethal protector, living with homeless people, and eating people, and not being really a good guy. Because he's got a moral code in. He doesn't really have a moral code. He doesn't. He eats people. He kills people. Eddie Brock's like, alright, you can stop him. You can beat him up. You can break some bones. And you might be able to eat some people. Like, okay. He's an anti-hero. That's still an anti-hero. People are saying he's a straight-up superhero. Yeah, he does stop the big scheme. I won't get in that yet. But he does. Obviously, the hero is successful. He is a hero. He's an anti-hero still. But people are just going out the rails. He's not evil or bad enough. And I'm like, for a PG-13 film, he's bad enough. Okay? He's bad enough. But, you know, in the comics, I will say he's not as comedic, I would say, as he is in the movie. I really like the dynamic with Tom Hardy and the symbiote. It was just good chemistry, even though both are Tom Hardy. But they have a good back and forth. Eddie Brock isn't this big, tough, he's Tom Hardy. Okay. What I mean is, compare him to the comics. He is in the most accurate words that Venom says in this movie, what a pussy. He is a little bit of a wimp, I would say. Not as much of a wimp, I would say. He's more, I don't know, why would we do that? My leg was broken and now it's not. Oh. Stuff like that. And I'm a little over-exaggerating, just a little bit, but you get the point if you've seen the movie. And there was 40 minutes cut from this movie that should have stayed in there because there was some stuff that some of the cuts were a little weird. I would say. Some of the editing from scene to scene or from cuts to cuts was a little weird, it looked like. Um, some plot elements are left out or forgotten about, and that's weird. And the CGI wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. It could have been better, but it also could have been worse. So I'm not complaining. But also, there is a little bit of a difference with Eddie Brock and Venom's relationship. It's not really fleshed out to the point to where it gets them to the point of the end of the movie. And I'm like, that 40 minutes would have helped with that, wouldn't it have? And Tom Hardy even said, yeah, that's my favorite part of the movie was those 40 minutes. I'm like, yeah, but those 40 minutes probably would have made this movie rated R. That's why they cut it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about Venom, non-spoiler wise. If you just want my verdict for this film, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's an awesome movie. I really enjoyed watching it. It was action-packed. It was funny. It's got Spider-Man moments in there to the point of references, a couple. And there's some Marvel Spider-Man type characters in this film. And Marvel Venom scenes from the comic or in this film. And it worked. It's cool. It's awesome. This movie does not deserve the hate that it's been getting. I don't know why people... I mean, critics are critics. Okay? I'm a critic. I mean, well... This is my first review, so I'm not a critic. I'm just giving my opinion. I guess that's a critic, but... I'm just sharing my opinion. I'm not saying my opinion is better than yours. I'm saying that's my opinion. And if you agree, that's awesome. And if you don't... Well, I'm sorry we don't share the same opinion. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this movie, because I thought it was great. It's a lot better than it could have been. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Into the spoilers of Venom. Well, there was a J. Jonah Jameson reference. That's cool. J. Jonah Jameson's son is an astronaut, and this is kind of harks back from the 90s origin of Venom from the cartoon. The old 90s Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man, Spider-Blood, Spider-Blood, Spider-Man. That one, it does have something to do with that. Because they're on a instead of, I mean, it's supposed to be the moon in the cartoon, I think. But in this, it's a comet. They take the 4 symbiotes, which is Riot, Scream, Venom, and a blue one. I don't remember the blue one's name. And there's supposed to be a green one, Lasher, but they don't even use Scream or the blue one. And we'll get into that in a minute. But, and it's kind of ambiguous if Jameson died. He gets possessed by Riot. They get on an ambulance, takes over I think one of the paramedics, and she goes away with Riot and starts taking over other people, like an older lady and a kid. Well, Jameson could have lived, and I'll say, if they do keep his character alive, let's say this becomes a franchise, okay? And they do Carnage in the second movie. Jameson's alive, and now he's Man-Wolf. Don't give Sony ideas, Bobby. They'll do it. In fact, they won't just do it. They'll give Man-Wolf a whole movie series. And I don't They'll give Carnage a movie series, Morbius a movie series, Night Watch, Aunt May. Oh no, beware the Aunt May movie. Ooh. I'm a jackass. Alright. So there's that. There's, you were kicked out of New York, Brock, because of the Daily Globe incident. And this is something where I was saying, you could pull Spider-Man into this. This is where you could pull Spider-Man involved. Even the Homecoming Spider-Man. Just because you don't see his Homecoming doesn't mean it can't happen. Basically, what you could do, Sony, is you can do, Brock was going at the Sin Eater, and he got a source wrong, and he got the wrong guy, but Spider-Man did, so that's why he got fired. But instead of like having a vendetta against Spider-Man, he is like, alright, I was wrong, my bad, I'm gonna go live in San Francisco and be famous there. We're good. And then if you want to cross Spider-Man there, he's like, alright, well, I'm following this bad guy that I found, and he's going to New York, and I gotta stop him. Or Carnage is going to New York, and I gotta get him. Something like that. And then you can involve Spider-Man. I don't know. Or Spider-Man's going to London. I don't know why he can't take his happy butt to San Francisco. You can easily pull the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Spider-Man into this universe of Venom. Or just put Venom in there. It's easily done, and it does fit. But let's get more into the movie. So Eddie gets fired from his job, and his fiance breaks up with him, and he loses his apartment due to accusing Carlton Drake, the villain in this movie, of basically killing people. Doing tests. He's experimenting on people and is killing them, and he's saying, "Oh, that's not true. That's a rumor." And then Eddie's got proof because he found it on his fiance's laptop, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I see. I'm gonna accuse him of this stuff." But he doesn't have a legal source, so that's why he's fired. So that's why Eddie Brock is kind of in a downward, all down sad. This lady who works there, she doesn't like what's going on, so she gets Eddie Brock involved, and they go down there to get evidence of what Carlton Drake's been doing with the symbiotes. And somewhat what happened is what he has a homeless friend, and they captured her, and Venom kills her, and then latches himself on Eddie, and that's how you get Venom, ladies and gentlemen. So, and it's kind of funny. Scenes with that is it's gross too. So he's like eating trash or raw food in the freezer, throwing up in the toilet, and then Venom's like, Eddie, with the Venom eyes and mouth in the mirror. He's like, or he'll go and knock on his neighbor's door, and he's like, can you turn the guitar down? Because the vibrations, man, it's hurting Venom. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And like, he's like, okay, man, okay. Or when Venom actually or there's another scene where it introduces, I won't talk about that. That's just filler. but it just explains how crazy he is. He's eating live lobsters, and he's going into the lobster um, pool in this fancy restaurant, and he's going all crazy, going after people's food. It's like, oh yes, no, 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 and ooh, that's tasty. No, no, not good. It's cold, it's hot in here. Let me get in that pool of lobsters. Ooh, no, 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 no. All that crazy crap. It's weird. This is a weird big movie. Ugh. And but we get the fight scene at the beginning, or well, the beginning of Venom showing up, and he's like, well, why are you putting your hands up? Because I don't want to get shot. Something like that. It's like, you're embarrassing us. No, I'm not. Venom's like trying to wants to fight him and kill him and eat him, and Eddie's like, I don't want to get shot. Let me put my hands up, kind of crap. And Venom beats everybody's butts, slams them down, and just bite all their heads off and put all their bodies in the corner. Why would we do that? Well, you've seen it in the trailers. It's funny. The motorcycle scene was awesome. Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. It's cheesy. It's alright. We get into Venom though. With the eyes, lungs, pancreas. So many sacks. So little time. It was awesome. Because that's a moment in Spider-Man. And like, pew, pew. Ah. Don't worry. The guy he gets, wanted to get, he does get it. He does get it. He's the second guy who gets it. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go and try send, and then he gets to talk to Venom a little bit. And you're not gonna eat any more people, are you? And I was like, it's quite possible. It's most likely. Most likely. I thought Venom was okay. You know, Venom has that moment with Eddie. There's a lot of... Here's where I'm getting to it. Venom, in the beginning, wants to help Riot take over this planet and put symbiotes here. But at the end, he's like, never mind. Because I like Eddie Brock. I'm going to live here and be a hero. Or something like that. And it's just like a flip of the coin. It's just all of a sudden, and it's like, that's a little weird. You cut 40 minutes, and that's why it's weird. Going back to the symbiotes, there's two other ones. One of them just dies, and the other one is on a bunny rabbit, and then nothing's said about it. That's it. What else is there? Riot's going across... This movie takes like about 7 months within this movie. But it's like, Riot's been 6 months. Riot has been trying to get to the Life Foundation. It took him 6 months to get to the Life Foundation. Wow. He's a slow symbiote. He takes over Carlton Drake, and Venom and Eddie have a big fight with Carlton Drake and Riot. Yada, yada, yada. They separate Venom with Eddie near the end, and Eddie gets kidnapped, and Venom attaches himself to his ex. So we have She-Venom as a cameo. Somewhat. I thought it was weird when She-Venom starts making out with Eddie, so he's like, and he's like, really into it. It's like, are you sure this is a PG-13? Because I'm thinking this is a little more adult-orientated. Because this is a fetish. This is weird. Anyways, it is weird. And she's like, "Oh, that's all Venom's like. That was all Venom's idea. I don't want to get back together with you," but she does. Um, but we're just going to the ending. So Venom decides to turn on Riot, and this is where I think might be an issue with Marvel connecting it to a Marvel film. I know Deadpool, they're wanting to connect that with the MCU. But this movie, I don't know, because I think if they want this to be in the MCU, and they want Spider-Man there, it's one word, but he says fuck. He says fuck once. And I think, I don't honestly care, but bring Spider-Man and the MCU in there. I mean I know watch Netflix. Go watch Daredevil and Punisher, and that's common. At least in Punisher it was. I think there's a couple times in Defenders and Daredevil it was in there, but it doesn't matter. That's in there. That's in this MCU, so it shouldn't matter. I don't think it should matter, but I think it does. That's just me. But they fight because he was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just say the world. Okay. Yeah, it's PG-13. You gotta get that one F word in there. I mean, at this point, I won't be surprised if that's not gonna be a thing in the MCU because they've been leading into that with Infinity War, so it doesn't matter. Back on track. They have a big symbiotic fight on the spaceship. I liked it with Riot absorbing both Carlson Drake and Eddie Brock and Venom. So he's got like three things inside of this one thing, and like, wow. But then it separates, and Venom gets lost with Eddie, and Eddie gets killed at the end. Eddie does get killed, kinda. He gets mortally wounded, and he's out of the fight. For like 10 seconds. Venom gets back to him in time to save him, and they defeat Carlton Drake and kill Riot and Carlton Drake, stop him from getting the other symbiotes to come down and take over the world. Venom he seems to die at the end, and then he talks to his ex. He's like, "Oh yeah, that was a cool adventure." And then Venom starts talking to him like, "Okay, Venom's not dead." And what I think is weird is when the Stan Lee cameo at the end happens, and he's like, "I really like you two together. Don't give up on her. The both of you." And like, the both of them? How do you know there's two of them in there? I mean, I know you're Stan Lee and you know all this. And I think that's where the whole watch her theory plays in. But I'm not a theorist. I'm not getting into that. But it was just weird. So go get them, you two. Okay. And Venom was like, "Who was that guy? He looked delicious," or something. I'm like, "You want to eat Stan Lee? Why?" And that was Venom. There was two after credit scenes. One has to do with Venom, and one has to do with Spider-Verse, which is a movie I will be reviewing. So, and I'll talk about this is spoilers corner, so we're talking about it. So, spoilers for the after credit scenes. This is another spoiler warning. So, near the mid credits, you get the Carnage scene where Eddie Brock's like, "Venom, I need you to be like quiet, because I got to take care of this thing." He's like, "Don't take too long." Like, alright. And he talks to Cleus Cassidy, which I thought he looked okay. He's like, "And there will be carnage, because that's coming in the sequel." And I'm like, okay. And then we're waiting. Spider-Verse scene. Miles Morales, he's fighting his Uncle Davis, who is the Prowler. I know comic books, so I know who this is. If you don't know, I'm sorry. I said spoilers, so there you go. His uncle is the Prowler. He's chasing him around the city. He stops chasing him for some reason. Miles goes to a gravesite, sees Peter Parker, so it confirms what I thought in the beginning. Spider-Man does die, and Miles is there when he dies. So I hope we get that scene in the movie. And an older Peter Parker gets behind him, and they're gonna team up. And it's funny because he's like, his web is stuck to Miles, and his other web is stuck to a train. So they're going like across the city, and they're like bumping on top of cars, like, it's like, it's funny. They land, and it's like, oh, thanks, New York, because they're walking on top. They're like not getting a room to get up or whatever. It was a funny, cute little Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse scene. So that was Venom. Spoilers. Like I said, I give this movie an 8 out of 10, and I loved it. Not a perfect film, but not terrible. It's not as bad as everybody's saying, in my opinion. And I hope you have the same opinion, because I want this series to continue. A lot of people want this movie to fail, and I know why. They don't want the Sony Marvel universe to happen. And I understand that. But if a movie's good, it's good. Okay, give it a fair review. Because you don't want something to happen, don't give it a bad review, okay? Or if a certain actress or singer is in a new movie and you want them to do well, and you decide we're going to make fake reviews over a movie to boost their movie up, don't do that too. You know who you are and you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so enough ranting. This was the Venom review. I liked it. And I hope you guys liked it too. Let me know what you thought of Venom. Alright, in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this review. If you liked it, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bobby, out.